Cheerful greetings, children. Welcome back to the English class. Today we are going to study chapter 10. It is a poem. The name of the poem is Everyone is Differently Abled. What is the name of the poem? Everyone is Differently Abled. This poem is written by Lorraine Bass and Danny Dierdorf. This poem is written by Lorraine Bass and Danny Dierdorf. Okay, now let me say something about the author. Lorraine Bass and Danny Dierdorf is a singer, songwriter, director and educator. Danny Dierdorf is a mythology author as well as storyteller and a musician. Mythology means study of religion, that is only called as mythology. He has been a performing artist for over 3 decades. So, how many decades he had been performing artist? 3 decades. So, what is meant by decades? A decade is equal to period of 10 years. So, this 3 decades, how many years it may be? Yes, 30 years. So, near about 30 years, he was performing artist, doing so many art works. Now, we can move to the poem, Everyone is Differently Abled. So, from the topic we can understand something, that is all are differently talented. Everybody is differently talented or equipped with some or other talents. So now let's see what is the poet saying about it. No two people can have same ability. That means two people can never have the same ability or talents. That means each one is different. One is different from the other. The poet highlights the uniqueness of every human being residing on this earth. He is just saying that the human beings who are living on this earth has got different talents. So now we can just move into the poem. Everyone's differently abled. Abled means having skill needed to do something. So, everybody has got different skills or talents. Everyone has ability. Everyone's differently abled, making their lives work differently. So, everybody are differently abled or talented with different abilities. Everybody are differently abled, making their lives work differently. Different people can do different things. So, each one's life become or lifestyle is in a different way. So, here in this poem from next stanza onwards, the poet is just giving us some examples how each one is differently abled. Now, you might use a chair with wheels to get around. You can just look into the picture of this poem. There is a boy just sitting on a wheelchair. That's why he said you might use a wheelchair, okay, to get around. We can just, if we are physically handicapped or if there is any injury to the leg, we can just move around using a wheelchair. You might use your hands to speak without a sound. The people, those are not able to speak, how do they speak? They use some gestures, that is sign language, okay, or actions. They just show and speak. Those people are called dumb. So, those people can use their hands or gestures to speak. Cause there's a million ways to do most anything. So, there are million ways, so many ways to do many things or to bring out our talents. Some people love to dance. Okay, some people very much interested, keen about dancing. Some people prefer to sing, prefer like one thing better than the other. Prefer means like one thing better than the other. Some people like to sing, whereas some others love to dance. Now, you can use a working dog to help you see. In the same picture you can see a boy is led by a dog because the boy is blind there. So, how can he go? He can get the help of a dog to work for him. So, here it is said that working dog to help you see. Since you are blind, just get the help of a working dog. Or use your mouth and feet to paint and write poetry. Some people, those who are disabled with the hands, writing or drawing, how do they do things? With the help of mouth and feet, they draw beautiful pictures, paint, and you also write many poems. Okay, and that's also just shown in the picture. There's a million different ways that you can do. Okay, there are millions of ways that we can do things in a different way. It's true that all of us live interdependently, depending on one another. So, it's very true that we always as a human depend on others for our help or to satisfy our needs. We simply rely on others. I will not be defined by my limitations. Defined means determined. Determined, a firm decision. Okay, here the poet is just saying that he is not going to take a firm decision by my limitations. Limitations means process of limit. To the process of limit, he is not going to take a firm decision. He is going to go beyond the limitations, but rather by my possibilities. Rather, most probably. Rather means most probably. Most probably by my possibilities, or as I get chance, I may go beyond my limitations and do things. We can respond to the needs of those around us. So, we respond. Respond means to give a spoken or written answer. Okay, we can just give a response to the needs those who are around us. The best ability is responsibility. So, according to the poet, the best ability is responsibility. So, we have to respond according to the people, those who are living around us. When we do according to such a situation, that becomes the best ability. Which is the best ability? Yes, responsibility is the best ability. Now we can learn the new words and their meanings. Abled, having the skill needed to do something. Abled means having the skill needed to do something. Next one, defined. Defined means determined. Defined means determined. Next one, interdependently. Interdependently. That means depending on one another. Depending on one another. Next one, limitations. Process of limiting. Process of limiting. Or we can say it as restrictions. Okay. Next one, prefer. To like one thing better than another. Prefer means to like one thing better than another. Next one, rather. More properly. Rather means more properly, or we can say justly. Next one is respond. Respond means to give a spoken or written answer to somebody or something. Respond means to give a spoken or written answer to somebody or something. The next one is a decade. Decade means period of 10 years. Decade means period of 10 years. Now, you should know what is rhyming words. Already you have studied it. Let me say you what is rhyming words. So, rhyming words are two or more words that have same or similar ending sound. So, what is rhyming word? Two or more words that have same or similar ending sound which ends with a same sound, but we can have different spelling. Okay, that's only called as rhyming words, ends with the same sounds. Here this example, you say mouse house, is it's ending with the sound is, mouse house. Next, another one more example, side hide, sides hide, it's ending with the same sound. These are called as rhyming words. And in page number 73, there is an exercise of question number 7. Okay, notice rhyming lines in the poem. Write the rhyming words for the given words. And you can choose rhyming words from the poem or from somewhere else, and you have to fill it up. This is the homework. Now we can learn the grammar part of this chapter, that is adverbs. So what is meant by adverb? An adverb is a word that tells us more about a verb, an adjective or another adverb. Okay, what is adverb? It tells us more about a verb, an adjective or another adverb. That's all is called as adverb, or we can say add meaning to the verb. When we have a verb in the sentence, more details or the more meaning is given about the verb, that word we call it as adverb. Again, we are going to study the different kinds of adverbs. First one, adverb of manner. So, first one is adverb of manner. Adverb of manner tells us how or in what manner an action has been conducted. Okay, adverb of manner tells us how or in what manner an action is done. It answers question, it answers to the question how. I'll give you an example. She writes neatly. So, which is the adverb here? Neatly is the adverb. Okay, most probably adverb of manner just end with ly. That's also a method of finding adverb. Okay, here she writes neatly. So, which is the adverb here? Neatly. Okay, we can just ask a question to this sentence. How did she write? We get the answer. She writes neatly. So, here neatly we point it out as adverb of manner. Just ask a question to that adverb how. Then when we get answer to such question, that one we can just point it out as adverb of manner. Next one, adverb of place. Adverb of place tells us where or at what place an action is done. Where or at what place an action is done. It answers to the question where. Here there is an example. She has gone downstairs. Which is the adverb here? Downstairs. Downstairs is adverb of place. It is indicating a particular place. So, we can ask a question. Where did she go? She has gone downstairs. So, here we are getting the answer downstairs. Then automatically downstairs becomes adverb of place. The next one is adverb of time. Adverb of time indicates the time of action or sometimes the duration of an action, and gives answer to the question when. Okay, what is adverb of time? It indicates time of action or duration of an action. Duration means how long that action is taking place. Okay, as well as we get answer to the question when. Here there is an example. You say, they close the gates early. So can you just point out the adverb in it? Yes, early is the adverb. So now we can ask a question. When did they close the gate? When did they close the gate? We get the answer likewise. They closed the gate early. So early is the answer here given for the question when. So that early becomes adverb of time. Now we can move to the next one, that is adverb of frequency. Adverb of frequency tells how often or how frequently the action takes place. How often or how frequently. Frequently means often. Okay, the action takes place. Here there is an example. Jyoti rarely visits the museum. Jyoti rarely visits the museum. Which is the adverb here? Rarely is the adverb. So now we can frame a question. How often Jyoti visits the museum? We get the answer likewise. Jyoti rarely visits the museum. What is meant by rarely? Not always. Adverb of frequency is also called as adverb of number. Adverb of frequency, we can call it by another name called adverb of number. You might have studied adverb of number. Now we can move to the next one, that is adverb of degree. Adverb of degree tells the intensity of an action and modifies an adjective, a verb or another adverb. Adverb of degree is, it tells the intensity of an action and modifies an adjective or a verb or another adverb, and also it shows how much or to what extent a thing is done. How much or to what extent a thing is done. So here there is a example. The hall is almost full. The hall is almost full. Can you just point out the adverb of degree here? Yes, almost. We can just frame a question. How much is the hall filled up? The hall is almost full. Is it clear, children? We just ask question how much or what extent. Okay. The next one is adverb of interrogation, or we call it as interrogative adverb. Adverb of interrogation or interrogative adverb. It is used to ask questions. Already we have learnt in the previous chapter. Asking questions only is called as interrogative. So here there is an example. How is your mother? Which is a interrogative adverb here? How. It is a question word. Now we can study degrees of comparison. Okay, already you have studied degrees of comparison. Comparing one to the other is called as degrees of comparison. That we have studied comparing adjectives. Here adverbs also can be compared using degrees of comparison. Adverbs can also be compared like adjectives. Okay, Mary is a clever girl. Clever is the comparison, that is using adjective. Okay, adjective, what is meant by adjective? Describing a noun only is called as adjective. Adverb is add meaning to the verb is called as adverb. Here Mary is a clever girl. Clever is the comparison done there, and that or that is the degrees of comparison. It is a positive degree, and it is compared or told more details about noun Mary. Okay, so that's why it is called as degrees of comparison using adjectives. That's why clever we call it as adjectives. Here there is another one more example. Kritika runs faster than Riya. Kritika runs faster than Riya. So here, which is the word used for comparing? Faster. Okay. And in addition to this, the verb only is compared, or the more details are told about the word verb only. Okay. Runs. Runs is the verb used here. More details are told about runs. Runs faster. So here faster becomes the adverb. So likewise, when we are comparing adjectives, we can also compare adverbs. Here few examples are given. A few comparison of adverbs are mentioned below. You can look into the textbook. Easy, easier, easiest. All this we can even compare with the adverbs also. Sincerely, more sincerely, most sincerely. So all these words again we can compare even using adverbs. Okay, already degrees of comparison we have studied in the previous chapter. Children, I hope the lesson is clear. Read the poem several times. Work out the exercises which is given in the textbook. See you in the next class.